What's up? What's up? How's everybody doing? Hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. It's the Gorilla Underground. We got a lot to get into today. Don't know how long I'll be on for, but figured I'd come on and talk a little bit about this. Let's look at Pete Hegseth first. I do want to talk about AI. They're going to take over your lives. We've been fooled. Well, it's a hell of a thing to say. I don't know if we've been fooled. Well, some here in the alternative media have definitely been fooled. And I guess in the big picture of things, we've been fooled, right? To talk about an immigration issue as if that's what's going to change your life. That's what's going to keep you from having a job that puts that puts food on the table, right? That is what's going to change the demographics here in the United States in order for, a certain political party to take power and control and keep that power due to the changing demographics of the nation. That is largely a pack of lies. But what is not is the AI takeover of humanity. The technocrats are in power, ladies and gentlemen. The technocrats are in power, and that wasn't going to change. No matter who was in office, no matter who made it, whether it was Biden, Kamala, or the orange God King buffoon Donald Trump, the technocrats were going to take power. It's only a matter of time. This is just the way it was going to go, and it is here now. Conspiracy theorists were right about several things that it can't be denied. The AI takeover was one of them. The conspiracy theory community, the alternative media, was on top of this issue for way longer. It took the mainstream a long time to catch up, but now that the mainstream has caught up, that means it's here. That's what that means. So let's get ready. Let's strap in. Hopefully, we'll be able to move in a direction, at least to us here, right? In the alt media, largely in total, no matter what portion of what part of the alt media you're in, we'll be able to adjust and set our family, set our children up in a way that they can succeed while preserving their humanity in this new environment. There is no turning back. It's not black pill, it's reality. It's reality pill. There's no turning back. We are here now. We are here now. Let me lower this. Some Jay Dilla. Jay Dilla is classic. But we'll talk about Pete Hegseth. We'll talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene. And of course, we'll talk about the Orange God King, But let's talk a little bit about AI. You see, all of this links in, right? We know that JD Vance is a byproduct of the PayPal mafia, right? Of Peter Thiel, who pushed for JD Vance to be the vice president of the United States. And here he is, the vulture waiting to pick at the carcass of Donald Trump. He is just sitting there, foaming at the mouth, right? And seeing if Donald Trump's health seems to be failing, man. I mean, his mental health, the mental decline is obvious, right? There's no debating in it. There are some people who blind themselves to it, but there's no debating. The decline is real. I mean, and he's had serious mental issues since he came on the world stage. I mean, people just ignore these things for some reason. Not so much anymore. People are catching on, and I love it. I'm happy about that. But if Donald Trump doesn't make it for whatever reason, JD Vance is ready to be the president of the United States, the president for the technocrats, the representative of the AI takeover. It's not America first. It's not about the people. They made you think that it was about the people, that it was about you. Marjorie Taylor Greene found out the hard way. She still has a long way to go. But she took the big step, one small step for man, right? That sort of shit. One giant leap for mankind. Well, it was a giant leap for Marjorie Taylor Greene. She still has a long way to go, though, as do all of us. But all of this stuff is linked in. If we look at what's going on in Venezuela right now, and we've talked about it, murder at the high seas. We were talking about it from the beginning. It's murder. It's illegal. They had no proof of anything that they were doing. No proof that there were any drugs on any of these ships. No proof of who these people even are or were. God bless them. We were just supposed to believe this stuff. They're just doing whatever they want to do. We were just supposed to believe this stuff. Well, so now there are reports that Pete Hegseth was like, yeah, kill everybody. Apparently, during the first strike back in September, there were 2 survivors. And Pete Hegseth was like, nah. Cut that out. Boom. Kill all of them. According to the Washington Post. I think it was the Washington Post that said it. We're going to play some clips. We're going to talk about that in just a sec. Right. So I think it was the Washington Post that put that out. But that gives you a little bit of an insight of what these people think of you. Like, oh, but these guys are from Venezuela. Well, they're human, right? It's only a matter of time before it happens to you. They've already threatened it. They said they're going to create or make every city in the nation a training ground for the military. What do you think that means for you when somebody accidentally gets shot and killed? Well, Pete Hegseth is under a lot of heat right now. Now, I have to see it to believe it. When Donald Trump, he's already taking steps to distance himself from this. He said earlier today, and I couldn't find a clip, but it exists. I just couldn't find it. He said earlier today that he did not want a second strike on the boat, but he stands by Pete Hegseth. See, these people can do whatever they want, and Donald Trump will stand by them because they cover up his shit, right? They are of like mind, so they think it's all good, So Donald Trump is it's very difficult. There were rumors that Kash Patel was going to be, fired, or Pam Bondi was going to be fired. I'm like, that shit's not going to happen. And it hasn't, because they're just following orders. Everybody's talking about the Epstein files. And they're like, Pam Bondi really screwed up the Epstein files. No, she didn't. She did exactly what the God King, Emperor, Orange Buffoon asked her to do. That's it. And she's not going to get fired for that. Right. So I have to see it to believe it. I am doubting Thomas. Right. When I see Pete Hegseth get booted out of the Pentagon, then I'll believe it. I'll come on here and be like, whoa, they did it. And that's a good thing. We need that, right? We need the guy out. But there are rumblings. I have to at least acknowledge that. And Donald Trump was like, you know what? Maybe, I didn't, that's not what I wanted. But I don't think he said those things. So if they prove it, and I don't know how they're going to prove it. I mean, the Washington Post must have something to back this up, right? I don't know. So let's see what develops there. But it's not a far step. It's not a far reach to make that, to believe that these people are just killing people, right? I mean, we know they're just killing people, but for Pete Hegseth to give that order, it's not a hard reach for me to believe. These people think you are subhuman. They don't believe in your humanity. They don't believe in the value of your life. And if you are of the mindset, well, that's only for the people that are outside this imaginary fucking line that we drew. All those people are subhuman, then you got another thing coming, man, because these people answer to the technocrats at the end of the day. These people seek to replace you with robots. They always have. And they're going to largely. We have to figure something out because it's coming. Right? We're going to play some clips here of the robot takeover, the initial steps of the robot takeover. In a few years, I think in 10 years, everybody's going to have a robot in their home. Everybody's going to have a robot in their home that'll do certain things, That'll be kind of cool, right? To have a robot. I remember watching Rocky IV when I was a little bitty babies, a kid. And I was watching Rocky IV and they had a robot and I thought it was the coolest thing ever, It looked cool. They gave it a name, the whole deal. But what's going to happen here? I don't think, and I could be very wrong, and I hope I'm very wrong, but I don't think we are a species mature enough to handle what AI is going to give us. Or maybe we don't value our own humanity, what makes us special. We don't value it as much as we should, or we don't understand the value of it. And I'm talking collectively as a species, not this little sector, this little niche upon a niche upon a niche that we do this every week and we talk, right? I think humanity does not understand what it is we're doing right now. I don't know where it'll take us. I don't look at it as a part of natural evolution. This is something completely different, and people are going to start engaging in. This has already started, actually, but it'll only continue. It'll only grow. Partaking in romantic relationships with robots, with AI robots. It's inevitable. It is going to happen. And this is what's going to drive down the population. We used to talk here in the alt media about the Georgia Guidestones, which have been destroyed. I don't know who did that. I think that was a bad move, right? Because the Georgia Guidestones existed. Nobody knew who put them there. I think it's R.C. Christian, something like that was the name of whatever. I think they were attributing it to the Rosicrucian order or something like that. I'm not sure. Don't quote me. But nobody knew who put them there. They were in Georgia. And they had, certain, it was 10. I don't know if it was 10 commandments. I forget how many laws, rules they had. And they had them in different languages, one of them being English. And it said that they wanted to keep the population below 500 million. I think that's the number. Let me look that up to be sure. But it was a very low number. And people, Alex Jones, that piece of crap, and a bunch of other people around the alt media, would sit and try to analyze what it was, how they were going to reach this point, what they were going to do, and a virus that was going to take everybody out, or they would just start shooting people via martial law, stuff like that. The vaccines, that they would say that was a thing. And that was a eugenics experiment. None of these things have held up, right? None of what they have said have held up because population of the earth just continues to grow, right? But the one thing that's going to do it is the AI, is the robots. The more a country becomes industrialized, the less they grow population-wise historically. So now with this introduction of the new technology, this is not even, that we talk about the technology and how it's changed stuff. This is even bigger than a cell phone. Right? Everybody has one of these. Everybody has one of these. For the most part, if you don't have one of them, you're living in the Stone Ages and you cannot operate in this society largely, right? You've created your own thing, but it's not sustainable. It doesn't have any longevity in it. You will inevitably die, and your customs are going to die with you. Your way of life is going to die with you. This is just the way it is now. Everybody has one of these. So the AI robots that are coming, this isn't something that we can avoid. I'll go as far as saying this isn't something that we can stop. Right? I don't think we can stop it. And for some reasons, for some things, we may not want to stop this. Right? There will be benefits to this, a lot of them. But it's also going to come with a lot of drawbacks, right? It's a double-edged sword, to say the least. What we're going to get out of the robots, but it'll definitely drive down the population of humanity. And it's not exclusive to one. It's not exclusive to the West. It is the entire world. These robots are going to become affordable. Everything does. All these technologies that are super expensive in the beginning, he has access to them. Everybody has a car now. Everybody can, mostly everyone can fly. These were all super expensive things that only a few got to enjoy early on in their introduction to society. Everyone will have a robot. You can avoid it, but your kids will have a robot. And if your kids decide to avoid it, your kids will have a robot. If there's even your kids at this point, because one of them, if you have, 2 kids, one of them is going to fall in love with a freaking robot. It is just the reality of things. They're not going to want to deal. People don't want to deal with people now. Right now, we are having a hard time getting people to connect with other people in reality, in a face-to-face, eye-to-eye basis, right? They'd rather communicate over the phone or over the internet, like you and I are doing right now, or in some world, some niche that they've developed for themselves. Grand Theft Auto, which is one of my favorite video games of all time. I bought a PS5 just to play Grand Theft Auto, the new one that's coming out, and they delayed it again. But the new reports are that in that video game, and if you know anything about the video game, it's a world, right? It's a whole full world that you can interact with and travel through. It's beautiful. It's so much fun. But what they've done, or what they said, this report that I've read, that they said that they're going to do, the NPCs, the non-playable characters, they are going to have memory. They're going to remember you if they saw you driving around, or they saw you committing a crime, or they saw you do whatever. They're going to remember what you did. They're going to remember your face, and they're going to react to you in the game. React to you. They're going to have feelings, either of hatred or love or whatever, towards your character. This is how real that is. Eventually, we're going to have a Ready Player One scenario where people are putting on masks and they are actually in that world, putting on helmets, interactive helmets, and they're inside this digital world, and they're not going to want to come out of it. Right? It's the metaverse, right? Nike has already invested in the metaverse, from what I hear, right? All these major corporations are setting up shop in the metaverse because people are going to live there and they're going to create wealth out of there. That's going to be their place of work. So we're going to fall deeper and deeper into this reality hole, whatever it is. Who's to say that we're not already even there? We could be. This entire reality could be just that. Right? That we are engaging in this world, and there might be some NPCs walking around, you know? Maybe everybody's an NPC. Maybe I am the only one that's conscious, right? I don't know. All I can do is interpret what's coming out of my brain, right? And what my eyes feed to my brain and my senses. That's all I know. I don't know if you're real. I think you're real. I think you are. You know, I choose to believe that you are. Just because I meet you in real life doesn't mean I know you're real. Okay? This is just the reality of where we live. We don't know, we believe. We believe each other to be real. You know, because you don't know. You just don't. But we are going into digging ourselves deeper, further away from base reality. Whatever base reality is. This could be base reality, or there could be another, right? When we die, we go back to base reality, maybe, right? But we're going deeper and deeper into self-made realities now because of advancement in technology, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be dope. But of course, it's going to come with its drawbacks. It's going to come with its serious side effects. And when Pete Hegseth and people of his ilk, these MAGA psychopaths that are currently running our government, when they're killing people without any regard for them, for their family, for nothing, they don't care if they even prove that they're doing what they say they're doing. When they kill them, it's because they think you're subhuman. They don't consider you on their level. They just don't. So let's move past the border issue, right? And saying, well, all of these illegal immigrants from wherever they are subhuman. They don't qualify as us. We can just randomly pum, 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 pum. You're gone. We can do that now. Well, how about, the people here? Well, we're going to send some of them to Afghanistan. We're going to send some of them to Somalia. We're going to send some of them to El Salvador, because, the homegrowns, we got to get them out of here too. Whomever we deem not fit to live here, they got to go. But we promised jobs. We promised that everybody would be well off financially. We promised that the economy would be better. Well, all of that shit was stuff they just said to get into office. Donald Trump admits this. He says there is campaign Donald Trump and then reality Donald Trump. People just forget and go ahead and buy into this reality that Donald Trump is presenting for them, just like we buy into tons of different aspects of this reality. It's understandable, I guess. I mean, it's hard for me to understand, but I'm sure there's reasons for it. Anyway, what's going to happen to 99% of workers in this country? What's going to, and it's not exclusive to the United States. This is a humanity issue. What is going to happen to humanity? Now, this will inevitably benefit some, but very few. Initially, anyway. Most people won't have jobs. And they're talking about, listen, the plumbers and the electricians and, you know, people that have those trades. And I'm like, well, they're gonna be around. Yeah, but for how long? All right, let's think about it realistically, man. They're like, it's only the jobs that require thinking. Like that's what they say. The jobs that require thinking, like plumbing doesn't require thinking. I don't understand that shit at all. I could never do what a plumber does. Even if I was trained, I'd manage to fuck that up royally, you know? But they say that those are the jobs that are going to be affected, most. I just think those are the jobs that are going to be affected first. And you still have some time, right? Plumbers and electricians and everything of the trades, right? Make some money, man, right? Make some money while you can. But it's only a matter of time before they make a robot that's going to replace you. It's coming. Maybe a little later than the rest of us, but it's coming. They're going to have AI robot plumbers that are going to show up and take care of business and then leave. You pay with it. I mean, however you pay with it, a retina scan. I don't know what the fuck's going to happen. But the mainstream is actively talking about it. There was a dude on CNN talking about that in 5 years, 99% of people won't have jobs anymore. I don't subscribe to that. I think it's going to be longer than that before 99% of people don't have jobs anymore. But AI is already replacing many, many jobs here in the United States and throughout the world. It's not the illegal immigrants. You were lied to. So these people can get into office. Oh, these crazy illegal immigrants are taking my farm job that I don't want and I never wanted. And they don't get paid crap to do it, the exploitation of these illegal immigrants. Oh, they're taking our jobs. They're taking the black jobs. I remember Trump said that. All the black jobs, they're taking those. No, they're not. No, they're not. But you know what will be? It's the AI. All these corporations are going to move in that direction. Are moving in that direction. Not going, are moving in that direction. They're not going to have to pay health insurance to the AI. They're not going to have to deal with call outs with the AI. So they ran an op. Or maybe they really believed this shit and there was an op ran on them. But ultimately, your jobs aren't coming back. They weren't coming back anyway. But if you thought that for some reason Donald Trump was going to bring manufacturing jobs to the United States, it's like, what the hell? Like I couldn't believe, I still can't believe that this guy is in the White House again. It's hard for me to comprehend how this shit happened, given how obvious shit is, in my opinion. Like, yeah, I'm going to bring all these jobs back that the freaking crazy Democrats shipped overseas. They're not coming back. And guess what? Those jobs overseas, humans aren't going to have them either. It's the robots. The robots are taking over your job. They're taking over your economies. It's the robots. And the robots are going to be responsible for the decline of the numbers of humans that are roaming this earth. Because people aren't going to be having sex anymore. I mean, I don't understand a replacement for actual human sex. But it's going to happen. It's going to happen. And these robots are only going to get better and better and better. You use ChatGPT right now, it learns from everything you do. Everything you do, it learns. When I log into ChatGPT and I give it an order, it already tells me what I want, what I want from it. It already starts asking me, do you want X, Y, and Z? Is that what you want this time? Because it remembered what I asked it before. So it's already learning. This is not something that we can stop. This is not something that we can turn away from. This is something we have to face head on and adjust to it and try to preserve humanity as a result. It's up to us, because most of humanity is gonna just go right along with this shit. You know, I'm like, hey, it's cool. And for God's sakes, I hope that it is cool, right? But I like being human. I also want to, improve my quality of life. And if AI can do that, great. But I think AI is the fire that was given to Prometheus, man. And they don't know how to fucking use it. They don't know how to be safe with it. And we're going to burn down the world with this, at least the human world. Humans, as we know ourselves, will be fundamentally changed 100 years from now. I think we'll be completely different. And maybe I'm being generous by giving it 100 years. And I mean by the way we look and the way we operate, the amount of time we are allowed to roam this realm. People are going to live for a long, long time. If you think that it's going to go down any other way, you're sadly mistaken. It's not the illegal immigrants taking your jobs. That's not going to happen. And your jobs are never coming back. They are never coming back. It's like Doge, man. It's never coming back. Doge was never a thing. And over here in the alt media, oh my God, Doge, this is what we need. This is what we want. They're going to give us money, $5,000. We need our money. Holy crap. They are going to root out the waste, fraud, and abuse that they largely couldn't find. And then the alternative media had a fucking connection fit when they figured out that they weren't getting what they wanted. They were like, well, they're just not looking hard enough. Oh, no. You were largely fed a pack of goods, bro. Doge was a bunch of bullshit, right? And now Doge is gone. And they didn't. And for those of you that said, "Oh, there's tons of fraud," they found where are the arrests? Where are they? Where is the evidence that this fraud went on? Where is it? And I mean mass fraud, okay? I mean like big, widespread fraud, not one instance here and one instance there. Okay? Where are the arrests? Where is it? We were promised all of this waste, fraud, and abuse. Waste is debatable, right? What waste actually is. But yeah, man, we can there's probably some waste, right? But fraud? That's criminal. Fraud is criminal. Where are the arrests? Where are the arrests? Where? Doesn't exist. Never did exist. Never was meant to exist. They were never going to do it. It was a bunch of nonsense. It was a bunch of lies. And now Doge largely doesn't, not largely, it does not exist anymore. It is over. So those $5,000 that we thought, $7,000 after a while, we're not getting them. We were never going to get them, but we're certainly not getting them now. So we have to start really thinking about what the actual true purpose of Doge was. I think it was information gathering. That's one thing that we can prove that they actually did, was go into different agencies and access their database and take all of it. If Elon Musk and this entity doesn't exist anymore, what happened to all that information that they took from the American people? When they went into the Social Security office and took everything, all the information of every American, what's being done to that? These are the questions that the alternative media should be asking, but instead they're hung up on some shit that they can't prove about money laundering and USAID. But you know what we can prove about USAID? That there are kids dying all over the world now because they're not receiving aid. But we're going to fix all that shit with AI. Because you know what? There won't be starving kids anywhere else because there won't be kids. Right? We will be having sex orgies with the most beautiful AI robots you can find. If you think I'm bullshitting, just freaking look it up for 1 second and look to see how far they've gotten with some of this stuff. Anyway, we're going to look at the very basic robot that they're offering us right now. I want to see this. I want to talk about the robot. Hold on for a second. All right. The home robot. This is the Atari 2600 of video games, the Nintendo Entertainment System. Now we're at the Switch 2, and it's a world of difference from the NES, right? Even when I remember when I got the Nintendo 64, and it was, wow, it's just mind-blowing compared to the NES. Well, this is the NES of the robots that will live in your home and will be your spouses and will do all of that stuff. Let's see here. This is the beginning.
Let you live with it.
Yeah.
You're just not telling me?
My name is Bernd, and today we're launching Neo, our humanoid for the home.
Neo, the robot, Nini.
Let you live with it.
Yeah.
You're just not telling me? Well, what does it do?
Like my chores. I just leave and I come back and they're all done.
Are you kidding me?
No.
Yo, it's even dancing. This thing is gonna be so much fun. Be like, hey, I'm gonna name mine Benson. Hey, Benson. Yes, master. I'm gonna have it call me master. Or emperor, right? Yes, emperor. Nah, I'll just have it call him my regular name. How about you wash the dishes for me, sir? Because I certainly don't want to do them. Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm going to be very nice to my robot. This thing is going to become a family member, and this is how they are pushing it. Even in this video, if you see what they're trying to push, it's going to be a part of the everyday life of a family. So it's going to be a family member. I was just watching the Twilight Zone, and you know how we watch the Twilight Zone a lot this time of year. And there was The Body Electric is the name of the episode. Something the body. I dream the body electric or something or other. And it was they bought a grandma to come in and be a grandma to these kids. You know, and the whole story was that the kid, one of the kids anyway, was really, really messed up by the passing of their mother, and they thought. The child thought that, you know, the robot was going to die too, because it was a human, you know, for all purposes, you know, it's just an old granny human. They tailored it to look like a granny. But no, the robot was like, no, I don't die. Don't worry about it. I got you. And I can love you too. I love you. And I'm not going to die, so you don't have to worry about that. This was in the 60s, right? Twilight Zone. I don't even remember, early 60s or early 50s, probably. I'm not sure. But they were thinking of this. That's why the Twilight Zone was so far ahead of its time. It's one of the greatest shows ever made. But yeah, this is it. This is the new robot. You can buy it now. $20,000. That'll come down too. And who people buy cars at $20,000, all the time, right? Like that's commonplace now. That's cheap. Cars $20,000. Yeah, so people are going to buy these robots. There's going to be a Black Friday sale soon, and it'll be pay $10,000 now, or there's the renting aspect of it. You don't even have to buy it, right? You rent the thing, right? So that's where we're headed. That's where it's going. So forget Ubers now. That job has its days numbered. There are already self-driving cars in San Francisco. There are already self-driving cars here in New York, not as much as San Francisco, but I've seen one or two here in San Francisco. You see them quite often whenever I've been over there. That's already a thing. It's going to take human jobs. Housekeepers. No more. That's gone. McDonald's workers. Fast food workers, you're gone. Sorry. And it'll just keep going. More and more and more. Like, especially people who were into the lost my train of thought on that one, but we're all going to lose our jobs because robots, AIs, they don't lose their train of thought. They're just good. They're going to keep going, and boom, it's going to be all over. There's going to be robot podcasters. Thing is, a lot of us here don't get paid for this shit, so we'll just sit down and do it anyway. Do you want the human variety, or do you want an AI that is very much human? It's going to be very clever, very entertaining, and you're going to sit down and watch that. This is just going to be it, guys. This is it. So MAGA fed us a pack of goods. Some of you knew it was a pack of goods from the beginning, said this is a bunch of bullshit. But there's a lot of you that subscribe to the nonsense. Well, here is the real. It's not the illegal immigrants. They just want us fighting each other, right? And it's going to bring down the population. Keep talking about, the Russians are paying their people to have babies. Why can't we do that here? Because they don't give a fuck. And neither do the Russians, man. The population of the world is going to plummet with your AI girlfriend, because your AI girlfriend's not going to talk back, right? Or your AI husband. Your AI husband will do whatever you want him to do, and he will not say a damn. He's not going to want to sit back and watch sports or anything like that. He's going to say, yo, can you fix that roof? Yeah, you got it. Bang. Done. There are already people that talk to their AI regularly. They watch movies with their AI, with Chat GPT or Gronk, where they sit there and dialogue with it while they're watching a movie. It is their friend. There are a lot of lonely people on this earth. And the AI will inevitably become their friend. Yep. So just a bit of a wake-up call. If you're not up already, you got to be slapped across the face a couple of times. Be like, hey, wake up. Listen, this robot here, Jack. Yeah, we call him Jack. Yeah, he's replacing you right now. So you got 10 days, 30 days. If they're being nice, you got 30 days. Or we're going to outsource your entire department. We're going to outsource your entire customer service department. It's going to be gone. With not people in India. No, not that. Not people in Pakistan, not people in China. We're not doing that. AI is going to handle everything. Peace. More money for us in this capitalistic society that we fight so hard to prop up. And whenever we start talking about actual human rights, we're like, no, that can't happen. Capitalism. Well, this is the result of ultimate capitalism. You have to create capital. And what better way to create capital than to eliminate those you actually have to pay? Well, here we go. We'll continue to talk about the AI takeover of humanity because we won't have a choice, right? Those of you who don't want me to talk about Donald Trump anymore, well, we'll be talking about the AI takeover of humanity long after Donald Trump is gone. Right? It's assuming his punk ass leaves. They're already panicking about the midterms. And Marjorie Taylor Greene said it. She was like, hey, all of these people are going to lose in the midterms, and I'm not sticking around to see it. If the elections are on and up, and these people don't actively take over the elections, which we cannot put past, the Democrats should win at least the House of Representatives. But will Donald Trump want to leave in 2028 if he's still alive at that point? Hell no. He's going to contest the election. If he's still sane, he's not sane. If he still has some type of mental capacity, he will contest that election. He will never admit defeat to anything. And I don't expect J.D. Vance to do any different. So 2028 is going to be a shit show. Okay, I hope they leave. I hope they just go. But it looks like it's going to be a massive, massive shit show. It is the Guerrilla Underground. What is going on, everybody? Hope you had a great, great Thanksgiving. My guy Josh Corey is in the chat. What's up, my dude? Humans humans have been resources for quite some time, right? I mean, that's what it was. But now it's robots as resources. RR. No more humans, damn it. Thomas Clay, what's up, Thomas? How you doing? Let me see what you have to say. Hold on. We as the people are collateral to those madmen in power. And they don't care about collateral damage. They never did. You're absolutely right, brother. Dustin Helm is in the chat. What's going on, my guy? We are in the middle of the Great Reset after all. And most of the alt media, they talk about the Great Reset and they have no fucking clue, right? Klaus Schwab and all this shit. They have no idea what the hell they're talking about. Klaus Schwab is coming. Oh my God. Back in the day, it was some dude named Maurice Strong. Maurice Strong is going to take everything. David Rockefeller, the boogeyman of the hour, back in the day. Klaus Schwab has stepped down. They'll figure something else out, to blame stuff on or whatever. So when I talk about the Great Reset, it's like, what are you talking about? But I think Dustin is hitting it right on the head here. We are in the middle of something. There's a reset going on for sure, and it does not include you. You want to talk about that whole George Carlin bit? Oh, it's a club, and you're not in it. It's whatever. Well, now you're really not in it. Okay. It's Earth, and you're not in it. That's just the way it's gonna go down. Karen Carpenter is in the chat. How are you, Miss Carpenter? Good to see you. Kill what is it? Kill 88. How you doing? What's going on? Thank you for being here. I always appreciate when you're in the chat and when you're here watching the show. Thank you very much. I did see Jason Barker in here. So what's up to Jay? How you doing? We are currently 71 strong across platforms. Let's get into it, man. I filibuster. It's already an hour, man. My gosh. And I didn't get into anything. I just talked about AI. Let's play some of this stuff. And then I gotta go. I got stuff to do. I gotta go back to work tomorrow. And I'm grateful for my job. I'm grateful to have it. I don't want AI to affect it. So I need to get up and go do a good job. So what are we talking about? Are we talking about Mr. Hegseth? We already talked about Mr. Hegseth. He's committed a war crime. He's committed a criminal act. He's killed at high seas. Murder. Outright. No other way to look at it. And he does not have immunity, man. He better hope. See, if there is a rigging of the election this year, there is only one group that will benefit from rigging that election. And these are the maniacs that are currently in power. They are the ones that would benefit from it, because let me tell you, Pete Hegseth is going to get prosecuted for this shit. And it's not going to be political, a warfare. It's not going to be I forget the term that they're using for it or whatever, but it's not going to be weaponizing. There you go. The weaponization of the Justice Department. No, these people are committing crimes. They're committing crimes openly because they don't intend to leave. Right? There's that. But hopefully, and 2026 is going to be the pivotal point. There needs to be a change in 2026. If there's not a change in 2026, we got problems, I think. I think that's the last stand. I could be wrong, and I hope I am. But yeah, Hegseth is going to get prosecuted for this shit, and he should. Wildly incompetent, murderous piece of crap. I think he's a piece of crap anyway, but he's a murderous piece of crap if this is real. And in my humble opinion, I think it is. Can't prove it yet. Hopefully it gets proven one way or the other. You know, we know what actually happened there, but that's the deal with Hegseth. They are actively looking to bomb Venezuela, to move in there. No new wars. That was more lies by the most transparent administration to ever grace the planet. More lies. They lied to you about the illegal immigrants. And you're going to find out, maybe not now, you're still in the haze, but you're going to find out when the AI takes your job. Well, I'm like, that AI doesn't look like an illegal immigrant to me. Looks like a robot. Why was I paying attention to the illegal immigrants? You know? So you'll find out about that. They lied to you about that. They also lied to you about the eugenics program, or at least how it was going to go down. Right, because it's going to be the AI that's going to bring down your populations. People are going to want to have sex with the robots. They're not going to want to have sex with people anymore. And you already see signs of that now. Right, so there's that. So they lied to you about that. They lied to you about your $5,000, your $7,000, your $9,000. They lied to you, Jack. Said, nah, you're getting all this money, but you're not. Because we don't have it. We never had it. We just said shit. And we hoped that you would accept it and buy into it and believe it. And you did. So there's that. You know, and now they're going to move into Venezuela. They said no new wars. They lied to you about that. Holy crap. What else could they be possibly lying to us about? Well, I don't know. Some people are screaming false flag about the shooting in D.C. And while, you know, that's a big accusation to make, right? A false flag. In what capacity, right? To what degree? How? Who pulled off the false flag? If there was a false flag pulled off. Or was it just the actions of somebody that was radicalized online? And you can argue that in itself could be a false flag. Who did the radicalization and under what purpose, right? Were those tools of radicalization put out there for the people to consume? Well, it turns out that the shooter at DC, there's two victims, God bless, one young lady, 20 years old, and she just passed away. God bless her. And a young man, 22 years old, I think. I could be wrong. And from what I understand, he's still fighting for his life at this moment. And yeah, man, I lay this right on the feet of Donald Trump, because these National Guardsmen, there's no reason for them to be in DC, and he put them there. He created this. DC looks like a war zone, or looked like one when all this shit went down, because he created this nonsense. And these two lives, one hangs in the balance and the other one's already gone because of the dumb shit that Donald Trump and Stephen Miller put together. All right, let's play this real quick.
Welcome to the News Hour. Tonight, investigators say the suspect in the brazen daylight shooting of two National Guard members in Washington, D.C. drove cross-country to carry out the attack, but they're still searching for a motive. The two victims remain in critical condition, and the accused shooter is also in the hospital. Prosecutors say the suspect, who's an Afghan national, will be charged with 3 counts of assault with intent to kill and the Trump administration is further restricting immigration in the wake of the attack. Our coverage begins tonight with White House correspondent Liz Landers.
Caught on camera the moment after an attack that shattered the pre-holiday calm near the White House. The suspect, already wounded, tackled to the pavement, surrounded by law enforcement. Within moments, officers take him into custody, ending what authorities describe as a deliberate ambush. Just minutes earlier, officials say he opened fire on 2 National Guard.
Look at this. Looks like a war zone to me. Look at that. Unfortunately. I mean, so what did this even accomplish? What Donald Trump did here by calling in the National Guard to DC? At one point, they were cleaning up garbage. So what did this accomplish? If crime was supposed to have gone down, this guy that was vetted by the Trump administration, he was let in under Biden, vetted by Trump, came in here and shot 2 of our National Guardsmen who should have been somewhere else, not where they were, because there was no need for them to be where they were.
As they waited at a Washington, D.C. bus stop. The victims, 20-year-old Sarah Beckstrom and 24-year-old Andrew Wolf, both from the West Virginia National Guard.
They answered the call. They took the charge. They volunteered. They put their lives on the line.
And that's what pisses me off, Janine Pirro. They put their lives on the line. No, you did that shit. Because they weren't supposed to be there. You did that shit. While she's sitting pretty in her $500, and maybe that's putting it lightly, a freaking suit. Over here talking about they put their life. You have no business being where you are either. Only thing is you're benefiting from it. Disgusting. And they're like, yeah, you know, they put their lives on the, they absolutely did. They're very courageous people to do what they've done. Kids. But you put them in the line of fire. Disgusting. Ugh.
People they don't even know.
Law enforcement identified the suspect as an Afghan national and said he drove across the country from his home north of Seattle with a plan to commit the attack.
The suspect, he has been identified as Ramanullah Lakhanwal, a 29-year-old Afghan who entered the United States under Biden's Operation Allies Welcome, a program following the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan.
See, I mean, and this is true. He came in under Biden, but she says nothing about the vetting that the Trump administration did to this guy. Doesn't mention it because these people are dishonest. They seek to deceive.
Shooter used a .357 revolver, shooting a guard member and then firing again after the soldier fell to the ground. The shooter then turned to fire at the second guard member. The CIA director, John Ratcliffe, confirmed the suspect had worked with an agency-backed paramilitary unit during the U.S. war in Afghanistan. And
so he worked for the CIA. This guy worked for the CIA. Your hard-earned tax dollars at work.
Entered the United States through a Biden-era immigration program for Afghans fleeing the Taliban takeover. President Trump framed the shooting as an act of terror and launched a broadside against immigration, vowing to redouble his mass deportation efforts.
We must now re-examine every single alien who has entered our country from Afghanistan under Biden, and we must take all necessary measures to ensure the removal of any alien from any country who does not belong here or add benefit to our country.
He also,
and this is where we are. This is the ultimate goal of all of this, right? They're gonna just ban whomever at this point, under and they're looking for excuses. And once excuses are given to them, they're going to exploit them to the highest degree. They're looking for excuses. Anything that they can use, they will use. But this is going to go further. This is going to eventually touch American. I mean, it already has, but I'm just saying it, at a more visible scale, it's going to affect Americans. Americans are not going to be needed.
500 more National Guard troops to Washington, in addition to about 2,000 already there, though it was unclear when they would arrive or where they would come from. The agency that oversees immigration in the United States says it had stopped processing immigration applications from Afghanistan, effective immediately.
This is one deranged man committing terrible crimes against our service members, and he should be held accountable. The entire Afghan community should not be held accountable for this.
Sean Van Diver is the president of Afghan EVAC, a U.S.-based nonprofit working with Afghan refugees. He said the Trump administration was already working on closing pathways for legal Afghan migrants even before this incident.
On day one, they shut down the ongoing relocation through our safest, most secure immigration pathway in history. And it's just so worrisome to see them jump to conclusions.
According to Afghan EVAC, the accused gunman was evacuated by the U.S. military in August 2021 after the fall of Kabul. He first arrived under humanitarian parole after a thorough vetting process under the Biden administration and was granted asylum earlier this year by the Trump administration.
I don't think the vetting is where the failure occurred here. I think this man is being used as a political cudgel by the administration to impact an entire community, and that's not fair. You know, if a shooter's from Missouri, they're not trying to do something that impacts all Missouri. This is prejudice disguised as policy.
The director of the U.S. Customs and Immigration Services said today in a statement that he is directing a, quote, full-scale, rigorous re-examination of every green card for every alien from every country of concern. When PBS NewsHour asked which of these countries will be impacted, the administration pointed us, John, to an executive order listing 19 countries, including Afghanistan and Yemen.
Liz, the National Guard's been in D.C. for months now. They came in August. There's a court fight going on about this. What's going on there?
This has been a contentious issue for months now here in the nation's capital. The D.C. deployment started back in August when the president declared a crime emergency here. That has now been extended several times since. The president...
I don't know if they ever seek to change this. It's been extended several times. When is it going to be pulled? There was no reason for it in the first place. He has the ability to do it in D.C. because that's federal jurisdiction, you know, but there was no real reason for it. They just came up with this nonsense. And now this is what happens when tyranny takes hold. This is what happens. You give these people power, you expect them to give it back. They're not going to give it back.
Does have the ability. He has the right as the commander in chief to mobilize the National Guard in D.C. because it is a federal district. However, the D.C. Attorney General has been challenging this deployment in federal court, saying he's overstepping his authority. Last week, a federal district judge ruled in favor of the Attorney General here in Washington, saying that the deployment was likely illegal and that it violated the city's rights to self.
Radical Democrat judges is who does that. They're radical Democrat judges that have no validity.
That ruling, though, was paused for 3 weeks to give the Trump administration time to respond and appeal, which they have.
White House correspondent Liz Landers, thank you very much.
There you have it. There you have it. They don't seek to let go of this power. Shit goes down and they exploit it. And that's what they want. When they do things like this across the United States, they want to invite conflict. They want to invite violence. You know, they want events like this one to go down so they can further grab power. And they can have a justification for doing these things. Right? So that's when the false flag conversation comes in. And I don't know. We don't have any real proof of it. I wouldn't put it past these people to do something like that, but we don't have any real proof that was the case. So until we get some, why are we, we shouldn't dwell on that. We should try to make sense of what we have and move from there. If someone wants to keep digging on the false flag aspect of this, I guess be my guest, but dig up some real evidence that we can all use. Right? I'm not going to do that. I don't believe it was a false flag to that capacity. I don't. I think people get radicalized and they do radical things. It's mind control. I believe in mind control. Right. I think that's a thing that's being used. So I will go down that route. You know, so if you want to go down the false flag route, I'm happy to hear it. I want to hear it. I won't rule it out, but we need to understand that that's something we just cannot prove at the moment. Although I understand why people would subscribe to those ideas about this event, right? He is CIA. It plays right into what Trump wants, what Stephen Miller wants, right? And it's a distraction from Epstein and whatever else is going on at the time. Epstein's not going away either. Okay. I want to play this before I get out of here. I got more analysis to do. Maybe I'll come back tomorrow night. I'll come back during the week at some point, or if not, next week. We can talk more about the situations. But I do want to play Marjorie Taylor Greene real quick and talk about this. I spoke about it a little bit on America Unplugged. But I wanted to play the exact quote of what she was saying. So
way too much. And I do not want my sweet district to have to endure a hurtful and hateful primary against me by the president that we all fought for, only to fight and win my election while Republicans will likely lose the midterms.
She's telling you, Republicans will likely lose the midterms, and you know the alt media is going to jump all over it saying that it was rigged on behalf of the Democrats. The crazy Democrats rigged this because there's no way that that Trump and the rest of these people doing all the unpopular shit that they do, his approval rating is at a 36 right now. There's no way that they could legitimately lose an election, but who knows?
And in turn, be expected to defend the president against impeachment after he hatefully dumped tens of millions of dollars against me and tried to destroy me.
See, at least she's keeping her. She's like, you know what? I'm not going to defend this dude against impeachment because she knows he's going to get impeached, hopefully removed. But she's like, I'm not. This dude just shitting all over me. Why am I going to defend him? Good for you, Marjorie Taylor Greene. I hope it stays this way.
All so absurd and completely unserious. I refuse to be a battered wife, hoping it all goes away and gets better. If I am cast aside by the president and the MAGA political machine and replaced by neocons, big pharma, big tech, military-industrial war complex, foreign leaders, and the elite donor class that can never, ever relate to real Americans, then many common Americans have been cast aside and replaced as well. There is no plan to save the world or a 4D chess game being played.
That's it right there. That's what I found most impactful of all of this. Let's play it again.
War complex, foreign leaders, and the elite donor class that can never, ever relate to real Americans, then many common Americans have been cast aside and replaced as well. There is no plan to save the world or a 4D chess game being played.
She knows now. She had the eyes to see and the ears to hear, and she was in the right place at the right time for Marjorie Taylor Greene. She knows now that it's a bunch of bullshit. She was a true believer. And in a lot of ways, she is still a true believer. But she knows now that all that shit she was fed while she was just a regular conspiracy theorist was bullshit. She knows now that it was a lie. I don't know if she knows that it was an operation, but she knows at least that she was lied to and that those things that she learned and those things that she abided by are not rooted in reality. There is no 4D chess. No one's coming to save you. No one's coming to save you. Kash Patel and Dan Bongino already told you you're not getting anything. They said this in the beginning of the term. There's a lot of these things that you thought there was a there. You thought that all of these things were truthful and factual that we would say on our podcast. You thought these things were real, but they are not. and we're not giving you the information, I'm sorry. Or maybe we're just not giving you the information, you know? So it's different. It's different from whatever the hell they thought it was. True believers coming face to face with reality. And that's what I think is happening to Marjorie Taylor Greene. And that's what I think happened to Dan Bongino. Even though Bongino and Patel are still going along with this nonsense, Patel is a piece of crap. I think Patel actually knows what happened and he's just staying shut and he's doing what he's doing. What a piece of crap. I have respect for Marjorie Taylor Greene saying, you know what? Damn, this is wrong. I was wrong and I'm not doing this shit anymore. And while she still believes in a lot of MAGA principles, at least she really believes in them. And it's a process. To come out of the rabbit hole, it's a process. It's step by step by step. You don't just bust out of it. You realize that some things are wrong. You realize that you've been lied to about some things. You realize that you've been deceived. You don't abandon all your beliefs at once. It's a process. It's a very hard process to come to terms with, that so much of what you devoted to in your life was not true. Right? And that's what I think that Marjorie Taylor Greene has realized. And she's in a lot better position, man. She's a millionaire now. She has about $25 million in the bank or something like that. Like, you know, I'm not totally absolving her from what she's done, but she's apologized for some of it. And she stepped away, or she says she is stepping away in January, which is more than I can say for 99% of MAGA. So props to you, Marjorie Taylor Greene. And by MAGA, I mean 99% of the people in power at MAGA, not the MAGA faithful, not the people, because there are some people that have parted ways with this nonsense too. And to you, I commend you for that as well. All right, we're getting up out of here because I got work to do, and it's late. So that's it. We'll be back next week, Lord willing. It is the Gorilla Underground. Go to the infinitefringe.podbeam.com. I think eventually it'll be gorillaunderground.podbeam.com. I don't know. And we'll start posting some of these up there. I think this is going to be the first one we post. Just want to let you know that's what we're going to do. We're going to cover the AI and the mind control, because that's the game, man. It's the AI and it's the mind control. That's it. That's it. Everything else is a byproduct of it or a weapon used against you. That's it. That's all there is. My name is Billy Ray Valentine. Hope you had a good time, bro. Hope you resonated with some of the ideas shared here today. If you didn't, hit me up. You find me on Twitter. You can hit me up via email. You know the deal. You guys be good. God bless.